Hello, we are live from my mother's basement. Welcome to my growing channel. Uh, this is Petey. Last week I don't know if you guys saw the video, but I was pretty sick. Pretty sick. I was completely out of energy with the COVIDs. This is a kale grown right here. I'd like to think at least, or some sort of collard greens. I don't know. I planted everything in the last rig when I was doing more outdoor gardening, and this is actually still a remnant that's growing a lot better than most of these tomatoes. With most of these tomatoes right here, you got some. It's still this stringy effect that we got going on here, but I do see some um, bit of microbial activity going on with the soil. As you can see, these it's kind of like an orangish fungi growing. Here, let me move the camera a bit forward just to give you guys a bit more perspective. Just a little slightly forward so you could get the goodness in. But you could see it right about here. It's like these little funguses, and that's the ticket. That's the ticket for the root transference when it comes to getting nutrients to my babies. I was looking up on different growing options for growing food indoors, and tomatoes seems to be a tough one because it has a very specific pH requirement. I think it's a little bit lower, like something along the lines of 5 or 6.5 pH, depending on the tomato, I would assume. We also got some of this wormy food. This I had a kiwi, and I just had the kiwi top, and I just kind of put it in there. It's like maybe a form of compostable. Uh, that was my hope at the very least, but hasn't really decayed or decomposed yet. But you do see, weird enough though, you do see a bit more fungus activity over around here. So maybe it does take foot with the decay of certain species. I mean, that's what fungus is about. They like eating the decay of whatever is decaying. To say, I guess maybe as a roundabout wisdom type of way. But yeah, we see this. Oh, there's one of these trying to like choke this one, but it's long been dead. This is a dead plant trying to choke this one. And actually, you do see a crease right here of where it was trying to kill that plant. So that's why you always have to. That's why you always have to thin your herd, basically. You know, I think I should pull out some of these. Just gonna put them over here where the fungus is more active. I'm not gonna make them work too much. As you can see, though, that there's still that like angle of light. So maybe I don't know if it's lack of lighting. I mean, lack of lighting could be part of it. pH could be another part of it. Not sure if maybe the pump isn't as good. I'm not sure. I'm still kind of jumping, still experimenting. And I am getting kind of waterlogged actually now that I'm poking it. There's a lot of moisture up here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to turn this off or turn it back to the timer setting. Actually, if you listen closely, you hear that? You hear some of the spriggity sprinkles of the water being drained out. So maybe it's getting too soggy. Up here, I'm actually feeling it. It's a bit moist. Might be a bit too moist for comfort. That's what she said. But yeah, I'll definitely turn it off so it can have an opportunity to drain down past the root barrier. I'm also noticing right up here, I think this is actually a kale from the last grow. And I don't think this is anything. I think this is actually a weed. I'm gonna pull that out, toss it out. It's weird. You still get weeds from the like, even though this hasn't been outside at all for like months now. I mean, obviously it's winter time. It's December. in a couple weeks. Was it 6 weeks? How much is that? A month and a half? Yeah, it's been a month and a half, and you still get some weeds coming in. That's strange. They might be coming in through, I don't know how. I, I'm not, speaking of which, I'm not exactly sure what this is. I don't know if the camera can even pick it up, but it's like, it kind of looks like a carrot leaf. What is it? Actually, the accident. I accidentally pulled it out. Let's see. This. Anybody in the comments section, if you can identify what this is, it looks like a grass seed, but it's not. It's got this weird pointy top to it. It's an herb that I just pulled out. Well, then I'm straight out of luck, aren't I? But look at that. I don't know what this is. Looks like a weed. Probably might be. Chances are it could be. But I haven't seen it before. So I'm fascinated by something that I'm discovering as I'm doing this. Yeah, I'll definitely put this in the compost pile. Away with you. I got some tomatoes growing in this corner, at the deepest corners of my mind. Does a mind have corners? Bit of a philosophy question. I mean, if the mind is ever expanding, does it really have corners? That's a thinker. At that point, wouldn't you think it would be just an expanding ball of energy, or it could be ovular? I mean, I know planetarily, there's like a mosquito or some kind of bug right there crowding me. But plants are ovular, kind of technically. Would that also mean that the universe came from an egg? So does that mean that the whole chicken versus the egg argument is more interplanetary or galactic or maybe universal? That the universe itself is an egg. Does that mean there's a bigger chicken? Or is there like a, I don't know, or is there like a ever expanding species that continues? Um, no, as you get, like, then it's always going to be the chicken came first. If there's an egg, then it would have to be made by something. But if you get away from interdimensional chickens laying these, like, I don't know, gigantic universe-sized eggs, there must be something that births the chicken. Is that what happens when the universe dies? We become chickens? Because I feel like we're all already chickens in some way, shape, or form. That's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool thought. Wish there were other people on here to talk to about the chicken versus the egg. But I'm just here. I'm not going to be on here for too long. I just I did a couple of live streams. I've been doing my Pokemon Go live stream and my Duolingo live stream that I've been doing every single day. And I'm realizing I'm not completely healthy. Like, I mean, I'm feeling a lot better from COVID, but even just standing up is like takes a lot of energy. I'm kind of leaning right now on this hydroponic garden setup that I got going, and it's a good crutch, I would say. And this one's kind of dead. Just a lot of compost, man. Hopefully this doesn't all turn into compost at the end of the day. I'm just wasting resources. Maybe that's what has to happen. You gotta just use resources just so you can learn something new. There's always going to be waste. I think that's the big testament of life right there. There's always going to be waste. So you might as well live your life and do the best you can. Especially when you're learning. There's definitely going to be waste. No matter what, there's going to be waste. So you might as well do it, waste, and learn what you can so you don't waste as much. Doesn't make me any less conscious, more or less conscious. Because I sometimes am wondering, what's the competitive edge I could do to eliminate my carbon footprint or to create a negative carbon footprint that my existence creates this type of oxygen that bounces back to the atmosphere, and all that I expend is everlasting good. It's tough, man, especially if you have fungus growing and they use up oxygen just as much as a human does. But it doesn't mean I'm gonna be sitting here breathing on the plants all day. That I got things to do. I got Pokemons to catch and Duolingos to learn and tubas to practice or something. I don't know, some other project that I'm probably gonna have going on. But yeah, it's like, what's the thing that's gonna reverse it? Do I have to create like 400 kale plants just to make up for me? And then at the end of the day, I just eat all this kale, having kale chips. I do have this growing. So this is, I think it might be collard greens or mustard greens, but I know this is kale, which is cool. I didn't actually think that the kale would grow up. And I think in this context of being indoors specifically, let me angle this so it's a bit this way. Like the context of being indoors and only relying on this light, this LED light up here. In hindsight, it would have been better had I have bought like romaine lettuce seeds or something. Definitely would have grown a lot quicker. Although like red and white LEDs, I don't know if it's gonna cut it for this type of situation or live stream. Not just not about the live stream, just the situation of growing successfully. Still waiting for people to show up, but I will say that I was talking to Alex a couple weeks ago about how it takes roughly 6 to 8 weeks for tomato plants to go into true fruition. It's 6 weeks. I got 2 weeks to go for these puppies to get up to here and produce me some sweet yum yums, some tomatoes. Some of these are regular tomatoes, some of these are cherry tomatoes. Haven't seen anything yet. I think what I might do next, though, maybe on week 8 I'll do it. I'll maybe order seeds on week 7, and I'll just get romaines. I don't think I want to do romaine. I think I'll do kale again because kale's got a fair amount of protein. I might do spinach too. I think maybe spinach and just kind of plant along here around the middles of these areas. I could even just do some transplanting right now. Do some thinning and or transplanting because there's a taproot from this bad boy right here, and it could go like right here, I would say. Yeah, this is very moist. Moist. I would probably want to. There we go. Put that there. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually unplug the pump that is supposed to go in here, and it's actually the first plug. I don't want to unplug myself from the lighting, all the nice fancy lighting. But what I do want to do is at least unplug from the main pump system, so it has some time to like drain out a little bit. Speaking of pumping, I actually got my trusty, I don't know if can I angle this down? I got my trusty, I don't know, this is going to be a bad angle and I'm going to be, there's this bucket right here. And I got it full of like a high powered pump. And so what we're going to do is we are going to pump all of that water into the 5-gallon bucket into the reservoir, which I don't know if you can see, folks, but the water line is like less than half. It's got to be up to here or something like that. So it's definitely thirsty. So it's using water, that's for sure. It could be I could be losing water to either evaporation or all the water's just going to this top bed up here, and I'm getting a bit waterlogged because I kind of left this on all day. Because I've been live streaming, I figured, hey, maybe I just need to get more light to these tomato plants. You do see some yellowing, which I have to look into more so. Yeah, let's without further ado, I'm just gonna pump what I can into this reservoir. Hold on, I gotta get this plug that's wrapped around the tubes. There we go. Oh crap. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, I'm just gonna fold it into itself. Okay. I think it's going. Oh yeah, you hear it bubbling. Now it's just going. It's going pee-pees. I'm such a child. And it's going relatively fast. This is still the water, the bucket I just showed you earlier. It's the water that I had from the previous pumping. Hopefully it's not so stagnant that algae formed, but it probably does have a bunch of nutrients from the previous rig that I had a bunch of kale and carrot and collard greens, mustard greens. Maybe I should have just kept it at one specific plant, and then I would just master the one plant. Like right now, it's tomato season, I guess. Obviously, it's not in season, but it's tomatoes. We're doing everything tomatoes. Oh yeah, this whole thing is like completely down. Like the level is pretty down. I wish I could show you a little bit better. Maybe if I had a better camera, maybe if I could use this as a switching board of sorts, and I could have multiple angles. Because I do have a couple of cameras that I could do that with. It'd just be complicated to set up because I would need a switchboard, which which I could have access to something analog, but then how to make it digital. I'm making all these AV decisions in my head while I'm filling this up. But it would be kind of cool to do that. I kind of want to do that with my bunnies. To just have like a master switcher and just have a webcam on my rabbits at all times, just to see what they're doing. That's not creepy at all. No, not at all. No siree. Holy crap, this is like pretty much empty. Oh crap, oh crap, oh god, I dropped the tube. Oh, okay. Water going everywhere. Okay. That's about as much as I'm gonna get. And I think I wanted to get all the nutrient-y goodness into the lower deck, the lower tub. Not this one, but the one below it. And now I just filled it with regular water. So I'm pretty sure it's well diluted to the point where it's like if I were to fill this up again, all the nutrients from the former outside hydroponic rig it would have been dilute, like the ratio of water to nutrients from the last build would have been very insignificant. So eventually I'm going to be able to just dump this, and my conscience will be okay. You know, I'm going to raise it up a bit so I don't have to hunch so much. Even though these are low ceilings, they're still good though. But yeah, just feeling the moisture. Moist. Moist. That's the word of the day is moist. Moist, moist, moist. Moist, 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 moist. I just said that really stupid. Okay, we're gonna plant. We're gonna transplant right now. Right over to here. And we're gonna do our daily yeah, here you go, little tomato. There you go. Have a good nap. Clear my throat because I have Powerade and it's not the most hydrating. Even though it has electrolytes, it's what plants crave. Obviously. But it's what plants crave. Oh, this one's dead. Sorry, Mr. Tomato. I feel like I do this every time. Like I always pull one that just could have probably had a better life had I left it alone. I can't abort them. I can't abort my babies. Even though the law says I can, I just can't, with any good conscience, do it. I think I'll put this one here. I hope I don't accidentally poke a wormy. That would be awkward for the wormy. Because the worm is just trying to worm along. Be a little lump. And I just completely rained on its parade. Some of these are like carcasses of, not carcasses, but they're just like droopy, dead, sad boys. And I think I gotta take more care of these. I'm a neglectful father. I'm trying, man. I got tubas to learn, okay? This is just for my therapy. Therapy. Okay, this is tough to get. I can't go around these either because I got like these hunks of wood poking out. Come out, come out. These guys are like wrapped around each other. Yeah, these guys are pretty much toast. I hate picking at them. Really do. It's like picking at a zit. I dated a girl that did that once. I'm like, hey, what are you doing? This is why you get scabs on your face. You get scars from your face. You can't do that. It's every kid's instinct to do that, but it's like nobody told her. That's why it's important to have proper communication with somebody that you're um, having, like, I don't know, like if you know stuff about stuff and etiquette that the other person doesn't know, it's polite to let them know nicely, nice enough, like when it comes to that awkward, vulnerable stage of being a kid. This one has a good taproot, but it's like bent in the middle, so it's got to go. Poor soldier. I have a feeling I might need more soil. I think that's part of it. I just need to get more soil. And how to get more soil in the winter time is the key. That's gonna be next week, I think. Next week I'm gonna have more soil prepared. No, nobody's here right now. All zero of you who are watching. Eventually you guys will watch. But I think next week I'm going to focus more on getting soil. I mean, all I have to do is just go outside, right? Get the warm soil, and then just sprinkle some on as we go throughout the week. Because maybe that's all they need is they need more of a foundation. Because that's a deep foundation right there. You know, it's like yo, it's like yo. See this? I need to heal it more. Give it some. It's like if it's coming up stringy, you might as well just like have the line meet the stringiness, so this turns into root. So there's more incentive for them to grow upward, I suppose. That's kind of like a wisdom. Potato wisdom. I don't know. I'm referencing potatoes, even though these are not potatoes; they're tomatoes. You know, there's ones trying to compete. There's another weird weedy looking thing that looks like might be a grass seed. It's got better leaves than what I have growing here, so it's probably a weed. It's thriving in this market. I just downed a bunch of vitamins, and you ever like belch in your mouth? This is gross, I know, but like you just get the taste of vitamins, just vitamins, like the aftertaste of vitamins. That's what I just got. That's what happens when you get sick and you down a bunch of zinc, vitamin C, magnesium, calcium, super B complex. Trying to get that taste out of my mouth. It's gross. Oh yeah, by the way, I don't know if you can see that. Probably can't. I got Powerade in here. I got red Powerade. I don't know if you guys can like. I had a friend in high school, and she was like, "Oh, I hate it when people compare their drink to what their outfit is," and it's like, so like a jerk. I actually had this shirt on. It's like, oh, I have a red Powerade, and I got my drink matches my shirt, and I had this jacket in high school, and like, I have red Powerade right now. Speaking of which, I got red Powerade. It's a funny little tidbit, I guess. I don't know. It's one of those you gotta be there type of stories. My wrist is killing me. But I am just growing plants. Not successfully, but my hope is that this will still keep going, even if all the tomatoes die. That this mustard collard green looking thing or this thing right here, I think this is kale. That's going to be what carries my team is the leafy greens rather than the fruiting greens, which the tomato is supposed to be doing at this point, but it's not. You even see this desperate attempt right here where it's like it's doing like a right angle and going up with this one right here. I don't know if you could see that. But it's literally grown out, gone this way and up just to get the light. That's why I'm thinking I gotta install another light on the other side of the baseboard. Or get some kind of like reflectors so that I could like point the light down there. Don't stare at the light, by the way. I just did that. It's all good though. Oh man, this one is kind of droopy. No sense having that in the family. Jeez, man, get a lot of deaths around here. It's like, hopefully we'll keep the life going. But I just wanted to show you guys how I've been doing, how the hydroponics have been doing. What time is it? It's like about 9:12. And I've been 30 minutes in. I think maybe we'll go to an hour. I'm not sure. It really depends on who's going to be showing up. Um, but if it ends up being nobody, that's perfectly fine, man. It's one of those days. I'm actually getting kind of tired. I'm wondering what this is. This doesn't look like a tomato, but it's greener. I think I gotta look into the health of the tomato before just completely quitting on the tomato plant. Yeah, I think I actually see another colored green, like one of these boys grown in the middle. So there's still life from, like I could have just picked this whole thing up and just planted it, plopped it downstairs and just harvested as I needed greens. Maybe I could have done that. Live and learn, I suppose. Hindsight is 2020. Put your third tertiary cliche in the in the comments section below. Um, yeah, cliches, man. I love running through life with cliches sometimes. I actually mentioned to a friend earlier. I was calling him on the phone, and we were talking about like with great power comes great responsibility, and I said, it's probably the reversal. He's like, yeah, I've always thought of that as the reversal. Kind of like an equation. If this equals that, then that equals that. Kind of like how time is money. That means money is time. Because when you think about the concept of money, it's a measurement of the value of your time. And so if you're not getting paid that much, then obviously that person that's paying you doesn't value your time as much as you might think you deserve. That's why a lot of people strive for things like minimum wage and the increase of minimum wage because everybody's time has become more and more valuable, kind of like power and responsibility. We were talking about how the concept of power itself, or like having responsibility for something, is an empowering thing. So that the more responsible that we become, the more power we have to help our communities around us and those that we love, and all that good stuff. I think we got a live streamer coming in. Hello. I thought it was just going to be me the whole time. I just got into some weird cosmic talk. Oh, they left. Okay. But where I got into this weird cosmic talk about how the the universe could be egg shaped. It very well could be. I mean, Pokemon says it is, so I believe him. That's where Arceus came from. He came from an egg, as most Pokemon do. I wish humans came from eggs. Like every species just came from an egg. That's so in that sense that like external eggs, you know what I mean? Like so like platypuses or platypi couldn't they wouldn't be left out at all. If platypi could be, you know, not be seen as the weird species that it is. And it is a weird species. I remember in fifth grade I wanted a platypus. So my dad got me a stuffed platypus and told me that, look, like I talked to a zookeeper and I talked to somebody who knew about platypuses because I don't know, he knows a guy, I guess. He knew a guy, I don't know, that just knew about platypi. And like they're apparently like they're so defiant that they will kill themselves and allow themselves to die and not eat and die of starvation or something just to spite you, just to not be held captive. And now, and like as a fifth grader, I'm like, oh man. But now as a fully grown adult, I'm like, that is the most punk rock animal ever. Mammal, excuse, sorry, mammal. That is the most punk rock mammal because it's willing to kill itself just to say F you to the man. That's so punk rock. I want one even more now. I want a platypus. The thing is I saw this one YouTube video of somebody petting a platypus, but you gotta be in the tank with the platypus, and it's like, all right, I could live in water, that's fine. Man, do they get shaky? I guess anything from Australia has a very weird genealogical history. I mean, I guess you could say. I mean, I guess Australians could say that about everything else. But I mean, it's that region, and I don't mean to compare Australian people to New Zealanders, but like just that region has the weirdest animals. Like there's this one species of bird I heard in New Zealand that could just pick up a fully grown man, just out of nowhere, just pick up a fully grown man. So the British imperialists, and this, say what you want about British imperialism, but they got this one right. They're just like, why don't we just kill every bird that's been doing this, that's been picking up actual people? And so they just killed them all. And like New Zealand is better for that now. They don't have giant raptors. So you could conclude that whole sentiment with it makes sense why Lord of the Rings ended with the giant eagles going there to pick up Frodo and Samwise, because that's the spirit of New Zealand. They had giant birds that could pick up people and you know take off with them. Can't believe it went so deep into that direction, and I ended up talking about nerd stuff anyways. But that's how a lot of people get about like certain, like a good friend of mine talks about that with certain species of snakes or like poison oak. I think he bought property recently and it has tons of poison oak, and he's just like, why don't we just kill all of the poison oak that there is? Just destroy all of it. Just make sure that there's no trace of it left. Because like, what is poison oak really benefiting? We're gonna plant more trees. We're gonna keep the species alive. There's no need to have some type of deterrent that poison oak provides to mankind and nature. It's like we know we're bad. Like, why don't we just like kill off the poison oak, or like the worst kind of snakes that like they bite you and they just you got 7 seconds to live basically, or that tiny species of jellyfish that's this big and its venom kills you within 7 seconds too. Like, what's with these species of plants and animals that could just kill people or cause like bodily harm to an extreme extent that it's ridiculous? Like, it'd be one thing if humans were more resilient, but we're just kind of squishy jelly bags that just we can't even like bonk our head too hard, because that's like, then we die. We get a concussion and then we get permanent brain damage, and that's why the NFL is under fire constantly, because they're just like causing severe permanent brain damage to their athletes, and it's like that's not good. But they deny it all the time, so because they're making too much money. But it's like that can't be good to have a culture dedicated around doing permanent brain damage. Why can't we just be like the British and just like play this sport that no United States citizen cares about, and just why can't we just have a sport centered around just like faking an injury? Why does it have to be like actually getting the injury? That's how hardcore Americans are, I suppose. That we actually get the permanent damage and everything that goes with it. That's what football is. That's what American football is. It's a real football, I suppose, according to Teddy Roosevelt. God rest his soul. Founding father of football. I would say football more than um. I, and like I'm not even like um. I'm not a huge football fan, but I feel like if I were to say that about Teddy Roosevelt, I believe it's Teddy Roosevelt. Um, he would have more pride in saving football than anything else. I can imagine it. Just because that's how passionate Americans are about football still. Even with the whole political stuff with the kneeling at the national anthem, it's like it's still it's still gonna be the sport of the nation, whether we want it to or not. I don't know. Maybe more science will come out and say that maybe it gives you like permanent brain damage, but that's what we need. That permanent brain damage might help us in some way. Actually, I don't think so. There's nothing you can. There's nothing good that could come out of concussions, like repeated concussions, and even with the headgear, you get your brain still rattles inside your skull. Like the cerebrospinal fluid doesn't cushion the blow that much. Maybe if there's a way to temporarily thicken it, excuse me. But then at that point, would you have proper cognitive function in order to play the game in the first place? That would be something. That would be something if you could make that fluid congeal a bit more to cushion the blow or turn into packing peanuts. I imagine that would cause severe headaches. You could get a stroke from all the pressure. Yeah, there would have to be a lot of trial and error when it comes to that stuff. And biological testing isn't cheap, especially with the regulations, all the red tape that has to happen when it comes to human testing of mankind. So go anywhere because they could just like capture people or just find some weird way around the rules and then just like start testing on humans without their consent. You get into some weird humanitarian ethics thing, but it's like, yeah, but it's for the greater good of football. And then it's like everything is honky dory at that point. Man, why do I always get into these dark philosophical thinkings? I think I'm just saying stuff right now because I don't have anybody that's on right now. I have a couple of fans. I think Edwin from earlier. We had a good Pokemon battle, so I think he got his fix. And he probably didn't think that I was going to live stream my garden today, but it is Wednesday. It is Wednesday. We are live streaming my garden every Wednesdays. Feel free to check it out and to see the progress. It doesn't look like a lot of progress right now. But I think I'm gonna order seeds. And I think I'm gonna change up the strategy just a little bit. Maybe some kale over here. Something good in order to, satisfy, because I want that harvesting week where it's like, ooh, let me cut up some of my dinner tonight and share with the bunnies, because they like leaves just as much as I do, because they're rabbits. They might even like them more than me, because that's all they eat. Or they might not like them at all. I mean, I do see Bambi having the dog food. I don't show that enough on camera because it's a disgrace and you shouldn't allow your rabbits to eat the dog food. But I think she does taste the carrots and other greens or other grains and carrots that are naturally in dog food. But the thing is she gets like chicken in her diet too. Never thought a rabbit would eat chicken, but hey, Bambi's a pig. She is a pig. She like, how like you feed a pig anything, it'll just eat it. That's how Bambi is. She is a farm animal. think she did come from a farming family. This isn't acceptable. It's like a right angle right there with the droopiness. That's not as acceptable. Wow, I'm like stumbling over my words. Probably because I don't normally stand this much. Because of COVIDs, you know. Oh, I should probably leave it here. Because I'm actually getting pretty tired and pretty fatigued. Maybe take a nap or something. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. I did have some dinner. Somebody got us some linguine for my dad's birthday. It's the other day, and he's in the hospital right now having a COVID time, unfortunately. And I hope he gets better. I I mean, hopefully he'll be here tomorrow, but he had to spend his birthday in the hospital yesterday. That's not fun at all. So hopefully he's here tomorrow because I got him a cool present. I want him to see it. But me standing up and being healthy isn't really a good service. I should be lying down and going to bed and getting better. Maybe I'm not fully maybe I'm not fully better from COVID. It's been a week since I had some pretty bad ailments and symptoms. So I think I'm gonna continue my rest. I'm gonna rest up a little bit more because I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it now. All right. Well, you guys have been great. It would have been nice to have an audience, but hey, I've been doing a double live stream for Duolingo and Pokemon, so I get it. You guys are sick of me, but I'm still gonna keep doing every Wednesday because I'm stubborn, and stubbornness is synonymous with determination, I would say. Sometimes you just got to be stubborn to get to a certain point in time. Adamant. Keep adamant, just like these tomatoes are with staying alive. Stay adamant with staying alive yourselves. I sure as hell am. I'm pretty stubborn with my weekly requirements. But yeah, I'll see you guys next week for week 7. I'm starting to get tingly actually with the might be lacking some oxygen. Uh, yeah, I'm gonna do some tomato research for sure. I'm gonna email Master James, and he'll tell me what I've been doing wrong. But yeah, you guys have a good night, and I'll see you guys on week 7. And follow me on the live streams for tomorrow for Duolingo and Pokemon Go. I do them whenever I get a chance to. So stay tuned for that, and happy gardening as always. Okay, see you later.